This is Warlock D coming at you from the House of the Holy Motherfucker again. And it's to wrap up the segment on I have a few questions, Governor Corbett. And I believe I made clear what the questions was in that video, which I'll emphasize now. That, you know, that mine, I've lived in this area for 11 years now, and that mine sat there with trees growing up through the buildings. And, you know, any time that, like, my kids went down near there, you know, they were chased off, and, you know, because the mining company would press charges. So my question is, whose name was on the documents, on the deed? Who actually owned the mine? Because, you know, if, you know, it was abandoned, that's news, because somebody owned it. And, you know, I believe, just like everybody else believes, see, Mr. Corbett, I believe that, you know, this is the one hand washes the other deal. Okay, it's just like the gas wells that's just up and burning now, just leaving them burn. This mine sat here that I know of for 11 years. Nobody bothered it. What was the environmental problem? I mean, that mine's been there since at least the turn of the century, at the very least. And again, the rich don't have to pay to get it covered over or knocked down. It comes out of the taxpayer's pocket. Come on, our economy is in such bad shape, and you're talking about, oh, we gotta take from Social Security, and like yous did before. See, I remember back whenever the Social Security was all taken by our military machine for updating all the weaponry, and IOUs was left there. What's up? People paid into the Social Security. Our military took it and left IOUs. Now the Environmental Protection Agency is running around, and you're spending hard-earned taxpayers' money to cover over mines and tear down buildings for the mining companies. Yous aren't taxing the gas companies for pulling up all the gas and setting the ground on fire, polluting the air, polluting our waterways. I mean, I know it's a dog-eat-dog world, Mr. Corbett, but this is really, really getting to the point where it's redundant. You know, I, for one, I'm not going to sit back and just say, oh, there's nothing that can be said or done about it, because there is. You can, as our governor, go after the last person on the deed. You know, who owned it. You know, their family still has the money that was made off of it. Why do they not have to clean up after themselves? If my father died tomorrow, every one of his creditors would be on my back about paying his bills off. Yeah, I've been through that one too. So, Mr. Corbett, are you kidding me? But then again, that is just like the bridge to nowhere, Republican. The tunnel to nowhere, Republican. This war on terrorism, Republican. And then, oh, let's blame Obama for it all. No, Mr. Governor, it will not it will not bake into a cake. I'm telling you. I'm not the only one on to seeing what's going on. And I, for one, am here to remind people that we really don't need to be taking it. You're talking about cutting programs, taking from the poor, and you just keep on dumping money into these holes in the ground. And nobody's asking what's going on. Why is it that legally standing, I'm responsible for everything I do, but these big corporate companies, and you know, I already have an idea of what company owned the rights to that mine. Well, just because they didn't open it up, and that doesn't make it an abandoned mine. That makes it you're covering a rich guy's ass. And that's all it's to it. Really, we as the people that are essentially your bosses, as soon as I get a chance, I'm voting you out of the office. Because all you're doing is you're doing like the bridge to nowhere. You come into my neighborhood, that mine is right down the street from me. It's been sitting there. We kept our kids away from it so nobody would get hurt. Okay? The buildings were falling in. Yes, there was trees growing up through them. But everybody left it alone. And now suddenly, because you took office, there's an environmental emergency to come in here and dump millions of dollars into a hole, is what they'll claim. And, you know, who's making all the profit? Who is making all the profit? How much are these mining companies and the gas companies you know, paying towards your staying in office or getting in office? That's my question. Because, well, you know, to be honest, I didn't vote for you because I knew these things would happen. And no, I'm not a sore loser. I'm making a point. You and this government machine is wasting our money repeatedly. And soon enough, somebody will be brought to answer for it, because it's just not right. We got people going hungry, they're homeless, and instead of doing something constructive with the money, or tax money, we keep on seeing these programs that's just going around and taking care of the rich is what you're doing. You're taking care of the rich to keep your ass in office. We know what it's about. So, you know, the bridge to nowhere, the tunnel over in Pittsburgh, that, you know, I know that it was a Republican that started that, and then you try to dump it on some Democrats' back. I mean, if we had a dime for every lie that you guys go into office saying, you know, we wouldn't have the tax problems. So I, for one, next election, trust me, I didn't vote for you the first time. I'm not going to vote for you the second time. And this is the way people ought to be talking to you. My God, man, spend the money on something useful for the communities. Going up and taking care of somebody else's property is bull. And I'm sure there's more than me that feel that way. It's ridiculous. It's a redundant expenditure of money. And nobody in the local area even got, provided I'm not mistaken, it's not even the locals making the money on the mine being covered over. So, redundant. As far as I'm concerned, your report card is all F's. You make a lousy governor because you are not handling the state funds the right way. And I'm sure there's more that feel this way, maybe not so bold to tell you so. This is Warlock D coming from the House of the Holy Mother, and I thank you for listening. And Governor Corbett, give me a break. You're protecting the environment. No, you're protecting some rich guy's pocket. Do your job right. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.